In this episode, let me just try to decipher onto the nitty-gritty reasons as to why the Murima Crusader backing Okongo Fred Matiangi shall be as hard as operating a barbershop in Jamaica. Listen, having studied the crinkum-crankum of Fred Okengo Matiangi and the former deputy president, I can categorically confirm that the two are dictators who cannot rule under the same state. These are two individuals whose characters and style of ruling is one that I can quote it as authoritarian. These are individuals whose political philosophies cannot and shall not in any way tolerate the other. And as they say, two tyrants cannot rule the same court. And that's a clear reason as to why anyone thinking that the Murima Crusader shall endorse Fred Okongo Matiangi from where I sit, that is tantamount to a piped dream. And in fact, due to other factors like trust deficit, the former deputy president, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, would prefer backing a puppet or a man who will bow down before him than him supporting one Fred Okengo Matiangi, to whom, from where he sits, he is more of his political peer. Essentially, I see the former deputy president Rigathi Gachagua preferring to support a man who will dance to his tune than him supporting a man of a cunning character like Fred Okengo Matiangi. Essentially, I see the former deputy president Rigathi Gachagua being ready to endorse any man or anyone who will make him rule through proxy than him supporting Fred Matiangi. In fact, lest you forget that the former deputy president some times back, right after his impeachment motion came to its finaltimate conclusion, he was very categorical to state that himself and his entire community will never again repeat the mistake of elevating an individual to whom they never trusted. Because if you remember pretty well, he, together with his Murima bloc, and entrusted with President William Samoei Ruto to an extent that they overwhelmingly did vote for him, but what they got in return was betrayal. So Rigathi has been very categorical previously, warning his people that they will never overwhelmingly support a person to whom they never trust. And of course, when I just have a look at Fred Okengo Matiangi's character, I kid you not, Rigathi is not ready to place a double chance and endorse him for the presidency. However, another reason as to why I strongly believe it shall be next to impossible for Gachagua to support Fred Okengo Matiangi is because numbers don't lie. And this being politics, politics remains a game of numbers. Because honestly, how would the former deputy president Rigathi Gachagua ideologically marshal over 8 million votes to Fred Matiangi, whose political demographics sum up to just 2 to 3 million votes? And if this it is something to be taken into consideration, then I honestly see a string of possibilities that the former deputy president would prefer supporting a person like Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka than one Fred Okongo Matiangi. And this is just not but numbers, but also if he is also to consider some other factors. Remember this, the former deputy president is currently on a revenge mission against President William Samoei Ruto, and from the look of things, he just wants to support anyone to whom he is likely to push to unseat President William Samoei Ruto, and a person to whom shall be very much easier for him to control. And speaking of a person who is likely to be very much easier to control, I kid you not, Fred Matiangi seems to be very much far from being that one person. And from where I sit, I strongly believe these are some of the factors that, if at all, Rigathi and his people in his camp are likely not to prepare pretty well strategically, then I kid you not, them unseating President William Samoei Ruto in the next general election, it is likely to remain a dream in futility. But from where I sit, it actually still remains a wait and see situation. And as I come to the penultimate part of this episode, that has just been my opinion. If by any chance you do have a contrary opinion to mine, you can as well just feel free to drop them in the comment section, and I'll give them a right of reply. And by any chance, if you have been watching my videos and you have not subscribed, you can as well just consider hitting on the subscribe button. Thank you, and may God bless you.